And now for the view from Finland, coming up, we'll be joined by Ville, Tavio, Finnish Minister for Foreign Trade and Development, in Brussels today for talks with ministers from all across the EU. Ville Tavio is a member of the National Conservative Finns Party and he's been active in national politics for several years. Good morning, Minister. Lovely to have you with us.
Good morning. Great to be here.
So first, we're of course looking at those pictures of the Indian head of state travelling all across Europe. This comes just after that big historic deal was signed. What's Finland's view here? What's your view here?
Well, the Finnish president also had a state visit to India a couple months ago. And it's absolutely one strategic partnership in order to diverse the trade.
And tell me, it comes just a couple of days after India hosted BRICS foreign ministers. So is there anything the European Union can do to put pressure on India to help end the war in Ukraine?
I'd really hope so, of course, and that's one of the reasons that Finland thinks it's important to have these close relations. But I would say that rather recently we've seen development in the trade and the quest in diversification of trade and China plus one mission instead of focusing only in these difficult topics.
Because of course you had that drone incident on Friday, which seems to have been settled. But let's talk about this big week for the EU-US trade deal that could get over the line by June. But in the European Parliament, we're seeing a lot of different debates. There'll be trilogues this week, so negotiations on whether or not to put conditions on this deal that, of course, as you know, is pretty controversial. But putting conditions on it at this late stage, could that not anger President Donald Trump? What is your view here?
Well, we are in favour of forcing what's agreed, and we see cautious optimism that the trilogues are moving very well, to my knowledge. So after all, we want to create bridges and not to burn bridges. So
but do you trust President Trump? He can be very unpredictable and cause a lot of stress for European businesses and Finnish businesses.
We are not expecting predictability from him, but I think he's a hard negotiator. I think it's debatable whether USA has kind of benefited from his actions. Maybe we'll see that at the end of his term. But from the Europe's point of view, we want to keep on the trade growing. We want to build a steady trade. That's what the companies need.
But if Donald Trump plays hardball, should the Europeans play hardball too?
Yes, me and several other ministers, we've taken stances before, whereas we think the European Union should have used the package we made in order to pressure USA more. But at this point, we are ready to move forward with the deal as agreed, and of course our requirement is that the USA also respects this deal.
And a big week as well for the EU. They're heading to Mexico this week. Could a deal be signed there? We know the last EU-Mexico summit was back in 2015.
Yes, we are looking for renewing the global treaty with EU-Mexico. And it's a very important point. You know, we have the Mercosur trade deal already applied. So that doesn't include Mexico. So it's very good that we get a new deal with Mexico as well. It's our second largest partner in the Latin America.
And meanwhile, of course, big focus of your talks this week on the impact the ongoing war in the Middle East is having on Europeans. Do you think enough has been done by Brussels, i.e. the European Commission, in order to soften that blow on Europeans?
Well, from the trade minister point of view, I can tell that the past 3 years that I've been a minister of trade, the security concerns have been rising all the time. So I think trade ministers are more dealing with the security concerns and increasingly involved in the security issues. So whether it's diversification of trade, but also energy, basic supply chains, now wartime discomforts.
OK, Minister, Thank you so much for coming into us here today on Euronews and being our guest on Europe Today.